I don't know why I tried to attempt 13 books after failing a month where I didn't have to do anything and had to read 12 books. So, and this month I have stuff to do. So let's see if we can do this. Oh. Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. Today is my TBR. Some of you might have noticed that I only said TBR, and that is because from now on I want to do my TBR and my wrap-up separately because I feel like I want to talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the books that I've read, like in depth. That will mean though that when I have those months where I only managed to read like one book, it will be a very, very short wrap-up, but it will still be there. Aside from that, I have also started doing stats on my reads, so that will be there as well. And I'm sorry if I look a little tired and and sound a little weird. I am sick, but that doesn't stop my schedule. So let me just quickly go through the books that I read. Just, show you the ones that I finished. I have read Season of the Witch, Light as a Feather, Earlian, The Frost Eater, and Fable. But then I also started The Gilded Ones, but I only got like to 60 pages, I think. So I will not be adding this to my TBR for this month. This month, however, with my TBR is kind of exciting for me because my TBR game is finally finished and I not achieved, goddammit, and I received it and everything. So I am actually going to be doing my very own TBR game. I will not go into depth with the rules and everything because the plan is that tomorrow, Sunday the 3rd, I will post a video going into like the details on the game and the rules and going through every single prompt that I have on my cards, simply because then I don't have to explain the rules every single time, or briefly I will explain it. Then you also don't really have to go looking through the old ones in order to find me explain the rules, because there will be this rules explanation video. That is what we're gonna do. So this game is inspired by animated movies because I love animated movies. Well, in the beginning it was only animated movies, but it ended up also including some animated TV shows and stuff. And the idea is that I'm gonna keep building on it. Eventually I'll also make a new board, but that will be like next year or something. I think without further ado, let's just No. This month I am also doing the magical Hop-A-Thon by Rachel over at Rachel Series. I'm not sure I'm saying her last name right, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna link the video down below. It is a readathon that is based on like the Disneyland parks. So basically we have the 4 different kind of like lands, but I'll go into detail when I get to it. And then there's 3 prompts for each land, and then you also have an entry ticket thing. Basically, it's 13 books because you cannot double up. We'll see how that goes. But the thing that's very special about this readathon is that you have to like read the books in order. So, for example, as Rachel explains in her video, it has to be very realistic. So if I go to Magical Kingdom? Yeah, if I go to the Magical Kingdom first, I will then do an attraction, a snack, and a show in the Magical Kingdom before I move on, which means I will have to read those 3 books that fits those 3 prompts that I pick before I move on to, say, Epcot or Animal Kingdom. So that is something that I find like very intriguing because that also means that I have to read them in a specific order. I don't know why, I thought it was so much fun. I'm excited to do that, but I think we should start with the rolls. So cue the first roll. I'm sorry if the sound in here is a little bit annoying, but I'm filming in my kitchen and not in my room where I normally film. I'm using this D8. I really hope you can see it because I have no way of knowing. And I decided on this because I felt like a D6 would be too difficult and a D20 would be too easy, and 2 D6s would eliminate the chance of rolling a 1. So I didn't want to do that. I mean, all I don't want for the first round is an 8, but 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a Disney card. Okay, let's see if you can... Yay! Have Caitlin pick a book. So for the first roll, I got Peter Pan, which is Caitlin pick. I will go into why in my, explanation thing. But basically, Caitlin is my best friend, and we have very similar taste in books. So it was only fitting that she would get her own card, because I do have another one that is just a friend pick. But Caitlin had to have her own. And she picked Sky in the Deep by Adrian Young, and it is actually a book that she gifted to me, so that's fitting. And I know she loves it so much. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to it. Hopefully I can fit it into the Hop-A-Thon. I think I can, but that will be a puzzle for later. I am just gonna put the cards in the books so that I know which ones are from the game and which ones are just additional picks. Next roll. No. No. Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4. An intimidating book. Then I got an intimidating book, and normally I would probably go for like a bigger book, but since I am attempting 13 books, I felt like that would be shooting myself in the foot. So I picked a book that are on my list of books I just really want to finish this year, but it's also a book that I've tried to read twice and haven't really gotten through yet. And also it's very hyped, mainly on TikTok, but I want to know why it's so hyped, but I'm also scared. So I think you might already know at least who the author is. I am going to be reading A Court of Thorns and Roses for my intimidating book, because there is just so much love for this book and for these characters, and like I feel like I know characteristics from all of the characters without having even read the books. So I just really want to be a part of that. Like, I want to know why it is so beloved and see if I share that opinion. You will notice through the months of me doing this game that I will try to bend the rules in my favor, or not the rules, but the prompts, as much as I possibly can without it being like completely different. But then again, it is my game, it is my rules, I can do whatever I want, and it is basically only to have a little extra fun, and I think it's really fun. I've played it so many times without having actually to pick the books, and I've attempted to film 3 times because I had to try and figure out how to format it and how to do it and where to do it. I ended up doing it in my kitchen, which made a really annoying sound, but it was like the best I could do, and then I'd have to try and edit the sound away. Hopefully all's good. Anyways, let's move on. All right. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this one will take a while, but I will speed it up. So basically I get to go through all the piles and pick whatever prompt I want to. So I'll start at looking at the Disneys. I'm gonna go for one of these 5. I feel like some of them are very easy. This one, the Mary Poppins card, that is just Rita Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious book, and I kind of just get to decide myself what that means. So that is kind of a free pick card. I know I have one that fits that one. I know I have multiple ones that fits that one. I'm not sure about this one, so I'm gonna put that back. Pretty cover is always easy though. I'm gonna go for the Nutcracker, which is read a book with a pretty cover. Then I landed on a free pick space, which is basically where I have to go through all the prompts, or I can go through all the prompts, I don't necessarily have to, and then pick whatever prompt I want. I went with the Nutcracker, which is read a book with a pretty cover. I have to. I really want to finish this damn series before the end of the year. So obviously I'm gonna try and fit these in like my game and also in the Hop-A-Thon in the best way that I possibly can. Also in order for me to not start a million new series. So I went with Illusionary for pretty cover, which it definitely is. A 1, which is a DreamWorks card. And we got Kung Fu Panda, read the next book in a series. Then I got my Kung Fu Panda prompt, which was a DreamWorks card. And that is to read the next book in a series. And that is really fitting because there's a lot of series I want to continue with. I could have also picked Illusionary for this and just picked whatever random book for a pretty cover. But I kind of wanted to get as many sequels on here as I possibly could. And I decided to go for Tears of Frost by Brie Barton. I have just finished Heart of Thorns, like, not last month, but month before that. And I loved it so much. And then I ordered this immediately and here we go. I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen because I have no clue. I will say though, I am going through the books rather quickly this month, but that is because there is 13 books for me to talk about. For the upcoming months, when I talk about the books that I want to read, I am gonna do a bit of a summary, but I will not be doing that when we're having 13 books because that will be too ridiculous. And last roll. A 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Barbie. Princess Power. Read a book you're not that excited about. And the final prompt was something that I didn't really need for this readathon, which was Princess Power, like the Barbie movie, which is read a book you're not that excited about. And that ended up being The Puppet Boy of Washaw by Eva Weaver. This is, I think, a historical fiction, a YA historical fiction. I have no idea what it's about. I got it in the blind date with the book. I'm not that excited about it. It is not fantasy and it's a genre that I don't typically go for. So I guess we'll see how that goes. All right, so that was the rolls. I hope you enjoyed the game. As I mentioned, I will go more into depth as to what it's about, like, and what I can win and blah, blah, blah in the video that goes up tomorrow, which is an additional video, so that is why it's going up on a Sunday and not on a Saturday or Wednesday as I normally do. Let's just go through this so that we can move on. I am starting off the Hop-A-Thon with my entry ticket to the magical kingdom, and that was to read a fantasy or a magical realism. I decided that this was the time to reread a series from when I was a kid, and I have chosen Roselil og hendes venner by Josefine Ottesen, which is a Danish middle grade. I want to say it's a middle grade, it might be a children's, I'm actually not sure. But basically it's about this fairy named Roselil and her friend named Silke. And I actually don't know what this one is about because I never read this one. I only had the second and the third book. But yeah, I'm really excited to actually read this for some reason. I don't know why I'm so excited. Then we get into the actual prompts for the Magical Kingdom. And first we have the attraction, where I chose the 7 Dwarfs Mine Train. And that was to read a book with multiple POVs. I decided to go with East. If I have understood this correctly from going through the book, there is multiple POVs in this. And I think I've also Googled it and it said that there was multiple POVs. I think there was like 7 and I was like, okay, relax. I'm hoping that this one works. Also, I managed to get it on my TBR. It was the book where I read the first line and picked this one basically for the video. I think, was it the last video? Don't remember when it was up, but it was last month. I am actually really excited to get to this, and this will be one of the first ones that I tackle. Then we have the snack prompt, and I chose corn dog nuggets, and that was to read a short book, and that had to be under 200 pages, which fit perfectly because then I could continue the Roselil series. And this one is Roselil og Blomsterkrigen, translated to Roselil and the Flower War. I forgot to quickly translate the first one. That would be Roselil and her friends. So this is also by Josefine Ottesen, following the same fairies. And I have read this, or I haven't read it, my mom read it for me, and I do not remember what it's about except for this flower war. So yeah, I am really excited to get to this series again. Next up, we have the show, which is a Festival of Fantasy, and I do remember that Rachel called it the 3 o'clock show, I think. And basically it is to read any book of my choosing, but I have to start it someday at like 3 p.m. Might as well finish the series, right? So this is Roselille og den lille drage, translated to Roselille and the Little Dragon, which is the last book in the series. So, you know, I might read them all back to back. That would make sense. I could probably do that in a day. As I said, I'm so excited to actually go back into this. So after the Magical Kingdom, I basically can decide to go into whatever land I want to. I'm not completely sure, like right now, where I will go. But as of right now, I have decided to move into the Animal Kingdom afterwards. But that might change. Alright, so for the attraction, I have decided to go for Flight of Passage, which is to read a 5-star prediction. And for that I decided to go with Illusionary. And it was a 5-star prediction when I got it. When I finished Incendiary, this started being a 5-star prediction. But then the other day Caitlin texted me and she was like, Illusionary is one of the best sequels I've ever read. And now I'm just even like more intrigued. And I think it was after she sent me that message that I changed my TBR that I had like planned into adding this on the list because I just want to read it. I also sat and actually watched my own like video with the books that I have to read before the end of the year to see how many of them I could fit on this TBR. So Illusionary will work for 5-star prediction. I am so excited. But we all know that I've talked about having to reread Incendiary before I read Illusionary. So for the snack, I picked The Night Blossom, which was to read an Instagram-worthy book. And I'm sorry, but if this isn't Instagram-worthy to you, you're wrong. This is like one of my all-time favorite covers. It is so gorgeous. Unfortunately, it's a little bit scratched up, but I love it so much. And I'm actually really excited to get back into this, and I just can't wait. That was a quick one. For the final prompt in the Animal Kingdom, we have the show, which I decided to go for Rivers of Light, which is to read a book with a beautiful cover. And for this, I decided to go for Tears of Frost, which also works well because now I have 2 of the books from my game already on the Hop-A-Thon. But this is also one that I'm so excited for. Alright, again, I can move on to anything that I want after this, but I have, for this list, decided to move to Epcot. I have never been in a Disney park, so I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I find this so fun. For Epcot, the first thing is the attraction, and I chose Frozen, which is to read a hyped book. And you know what? What else? I just really want to get to this, and it was also on my list for books I want to finish this year, so. Then for the snack, we had the World Showcase thing, where you had to either read a book where the author is from one of the following countries that she listed, or that takes place in one of those countries, or that was translated from one of those languages. And at first I was really struggling to find something until I noticed that one of the places was America. So I was able to fit Sky in the Deep in. This was not on my list before Caitlin picked it. So I had to switch things around, but honestly it's for the better because I had a really long book on here for this prompt, so I don't know why I did that. But I'm really excited to read Sky in the Deep, and obviously it fits because Adrienne Young is from Texas, I think, so America. For the show, I decided to go for Turtle Talk with Crush, and that was either to read a middle grade or to listen to an audiobook. I decided to read Coraline again. This is a reread. I have just rewatched Coraline, and I'm probably gonna do it again this month. Alright, hold on. I just noticed something, and I might have to switch up one of my picks for the my game, but I'll get into that. But Coraline, it is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I really enjoyed the book as well. I'm gonna reread the book now. This is the Danish one. I really wish I had the English one so that I could read it in like the original language, but for now this will be fine. Alright, so just before I move into Hollywood Studios, I forgot that I had changed a prompt on my Hop-A-Thon. I could just change it back, but I kind of don't want to. So the thing that I am gonna do is take this with the prompt for a book that I am not that excited about, and I'm gonna change the book. I'm sorry for being so unorganized, but I am gonna do that. I am actually gonna change it to something that I was excited about, but now I'm not. And that is Namesake. Because I mentioned before that Caitlin said that Illusionary was the best sequel she has ever read. She had also mentioned to me that Namesake was very disappointing. And I want to read it, but there's so much more that I would rather read. So I feel like this fits with something that I'm not that excited to read. I decided to go for Namesake because Namesake is my snack prompt for Hollywood Studios. So I'm just gonna go through the snack and then attraction and then show. So the snack, I decided to go with the blue-green milk. I think it was also called something else, but I forgot to write that down. And that is to read a book that you spent way too much money on, but did it anyways and don't regret it, I guess. And I decided to pick a Fairy Loot book because they are more expensive and it is what it is. So there isn't really any other book that I feel like I've spent, or there isn't really any book that I feel like I've spent too much money on, because if I felt like it was too much money, I wouldn't have spent it. But this was definitely one of the more expensive ones, and I decided to go for this because I just finished Fable last month and it would be nice to finish that series. So, but I am not as excited about this as I was before. For the attraction, I have picked Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and that was to read a new release, and that had to be after 2021. No, sorry. That had to be from 2020 or 2021. That was the thing. And I decided to go for Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis, and this is from 2021. I decided to go for this because I have actually ordered the sequel from Fairy Loot. No, not Fairy Loot, from Owlcrate, because this is the Owlcrate edition and it's kind of very special and I want them to match. I'm excited to get to this and I had to pick it for the readathon. And finally, the show prompt. I went with Indiana Jones, and that is a book that you keep putting off. Crown of Midnight. I read Throne of Glass earlier this year, like in the beginning of the year, and I wanted to continue this series for so goddamn long because it's so long. And I just wanna, I don't wanna spend ages on reading this damn series. So that is why I picked Crown of Midnight for a book that you keep putting off, because I definitely do that. That was a lot. It was a lot, you guys. But we're done. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you're taking part in the Hop-A-Thon. Are you attempting to read all 13 books, or are you only going to focus on like 1 or 2 of the places that you get to? Let me know down in the comments. And also, what do you think of my game? Because I love it, but I also want you guys to love it. So if you like this video, please hit the like icon, and if you want to see more of my bookish content, please hit that subscribe button. And also, if you want to get notified every time I post, then hit the little bell icon. It would just mean the world to me. And until I see you next time, bye!